Welcome to another episode of Comedy Wham Presents with me, your host Valerie, sometime co-host Miss Purrington, and Mookie. ComedyWham.com is your place to go for features about all Austin comedy. You can keep up with us on Twitter and Instagram at Comedy Wham or on our Comedy Wham Facebook page. In addition to podcasts, Comedy Wham brings you articles, album reviews, our advice column, Rochelle Takes on Comedy, and we've also got a festivals page and our FPIA page summarizing all of the contest results. And of course, we're best known for our events page for live shows in Austin, Houston, and DFW. If you're a comic in those cities and want your show featured on the calendar, go to the events page and click Submit a Show to complete the short survey. Tag us on your Instagram stories or posts, and we'll share your show promo. Looking for ways to support all these resources that we provide? You can donate to Comedy Wham on PayPal, Venmo, or even Patreon. Search for Comedy Wham on Patreon and check out our subscriber perks. Now let's get back to our podcast. Launched in 2016, the Podcast Project brings you funny people and their stories. As a fan, I like to delve into a comic's background and motivations, and we usually take a detour along the way. Consider the interview a way for you to get to know the folks that make the Austin comedy scene one of the best in the country. If you like this podcast, please rate and review us. Today, we originally talked to our guest back in 2018. He has served as the artistic director of Boom Chicago in Amsterdam. He directed Boom Chicago Rockstars. He both studied and eventually taught at the universally recognized and respected Second City Chicago and Cleveland. When he and his wife settled in Austin, he made a name for himself with a handful of improv troupes and claimed Coldtowne Theater as his home theater, where he's been serving as an executive producer. I'm guessing that title has changed since then. During the pandemic, he and his fellow Coldtowne Theater family lost their original venue, but fought and thrived by providing online content and more recently by having shows around town. The theater recently started producing shows at venues. Oh, that's what I just said. The theater recently started producing shows at venues around town.
We did.
Yeah.
We did it all over town.
You did, while waiting to settle into your new venue. And we are so thrilled to hear that and see that Coldtowne Theater's launch in early November in a brand new permanent space at a gorgeous location on East 2nd. And now, Comedy Wham presents our guest, Dave Buckman.
Hello.
Hello. So as you may or may not remember, I used most of the same introduction elements from our 2018 episode. You're not just executive producer anymore, right?
Yeah, that's my title.
Is that really?
But also co-owner.
Okay, all right. That's the part. Yeah.
I mean, I was a co-owner first, and then I made myself executive producer.
Oh, that's the way you do it.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
4 years.
God, has it only been 4 years?
I know.
Or, God,
it's been 4 years, right? I mean, what happened between then and now? It's really only 2 years, right? Because we can just strike off about 2 years of
Oh, how I wish
life.
I could strike those 2 years.
Oh, as co-owner,
and
that must have hurt.
And not count them. That'd be great.
That must have hurt.
But as banks have repeatedly told me, we cannot count out 2020 and 2021.
Ooh, that hurts.
Yeah.
That hurts. Well, tell us how life was rocking between 18 and March of 2020.
God, we were poised. We were so poised to launch into a stratosphere. We were getting recognition from Just for Laughs. We were, we were about to launch so many people. We had actually been saving for years to get our own space, a new space, because we knew we were outgrowing the spaces that we were in. And in February 2020, we'd actually put down a deposit for a new space at the Link.
The Link, where's that?
That's where Easy Tiger's up there now, like Middle Festival Road.
Okay.
Over by where Vivo is now.
Yeah,
it's AFS, the AFS cinema.
Okay.
Anyway, we thought we were going to be moving there February 2020, and then everything dropped, and we had a fight to get our security deposit back, which we only got half of back. And we were just sitting on this little bundle of cash that we'd saved, which isn't a lot, but it was enough to kind of launch us somewhere.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic hit, and then we thought, maybe a couple weeks, a couple months. And then Jester decided to leave. One of our owners decided to divest and get an RV and drive around the country. You know, God bless him, he's a lot happier now. And so we brought in Tari to replace him in ownership. And, you know, I don't think if Tari hadn't joined Coldtowne ownership, I don't know that Coldtowne would still be here.
Really?
I don't know. I couldn't do this by myself.
Yeah.
It was just too much. There's a lot I didn't know how to do by myself because Mike did a lot of it. So it was, you know, either that happened or it didn't. And then we struggled for a while, and then we found out about this shuttered operators venue grant from the Save Our Stages Act, which bailed out a lot of theater entities around town. You know, it's all public record. So, you know, Esther's Follies got some money, Moody Center got some money, Hideout got some money, and we got some money. And so it's like more money than we'd ever had in our bank account for sure. But it was like maybe 3/4 of what an annual budget would be anyway. So we just sat on that money for a year or so, being itinerant and trying to look for a space. And we had a space that we love.
Yeah.
We negotiated a lease. We had floor plans drawn up, lighting grid, and just like we were ready to go. And we just thought it'd be easy to get a bank loan because of how awesome we were doing up until 2019. And that did not prove to be true because they didn't want to. They couldn't look at the 2018, 2019 books. They'd only look at the 2020 and 2021 books, which, as you can imagine, are abysmal. Of course, we lost money in those years because we didn't have a space, and you know, we didn't know how to shift appropriately.
You were doing online.
We're doing online
stuff,
we're
but
doing,
that's...
we came back in 2021 to do some in-person classes, in-person shows, and it's been slowly building over the last year and a half so far of doing in-person stuff. But it's still, you know, we're still operating at a loss, minimally. You know, we're breaking even, or but we're not like killing it anymore.
Yeah, and that's what the banks want.
That's what the banks want to see, proven success. So Tari found this space on LoopNet that we're in now. And we know that that's going away in a year too. That will also be torn down in a year for condos. We knew that going in. It's a 14-month lease.
Oh.
But we couldn't afford it to do the place we want to go into because it's a $500,000 interior construction. It's just an empty space, and we need a theater. We need walls. We need soundproof walls for the kind of business we need to do. We need 3 or 4 classrooms. We need a hangout space out back. And so all that's figured out. We just don't have. We have half of what we need to make that project happen. So rather than just sit on that money and just cry, we decided to open up a space for a year, give investors and donors an opportunity to see what we want to be doing, to start a track record. And hopefully, God willing, by the summer, we're killing it again.
Yeah.
And people will be like, how do I get involved with this? How do I invest in this? How do I, I've had a lot of interest from people who are interested, but we need to be doing it to attract the kind of people that we need to attract to either invest or donate the money that we need to make it happen. Because I don't think it's going to happen bank-wise or city-wise. So even the city's been really hard to deal with on top of all this too. So,
oh, yeah. Well, I know from the stories of the many, many delays for Cap City to reopen, they told me, because I got to write an article for the Chronicle about the return of Cap City, they said it was less so the city, it was more so that they couldn't get the materials and the construction crews.
We didn't have anything with that because we had all our stuff in storage, so we were ready to go, and we just needed to like paint some walls and hang some lights and build a tech booth, and we're ready to go because the place that we moved into is perfect. I mean, I'd love 1 or 2 more rooms for more classrooms, and so we're on the hunt for either another $350,000 so we can build our bespoke, custom-built improv theater, or a bar that's going under with lots of different rooms that we can convert into a theater. And that's really what this year's about, is finding that space or finding that money.
Yeah. Well.
And if not, then this was fun.
Who would think when they're at the early parts of their career and all they're focused on is stage time, and now here you are and you're worried about what a bank thinks and a lease.
I have a dumpster showing up on Tuesday.
This is what your life has become.
Yeah, that kind of stuff, like just learning what we can't have a bar where we're at, so it's going to probably be a retail store like what's that?
Blue Genie?
No, not Blue Genie. What are those? Royal Blue groceries.
Oh, yeah.
So you can go in and buy like a single beer or a 6-pack or a bottle of wine or a sandwich.
Yeah.
And have that kind of be our cafe, which is not what we wanted, but for some reason that's what the city will let us thread a needle through to get to, in order to provide people with refreshments for our shows. And the shows will have to be called classes, I think, because I don't know if we can get a theater permit. We might have to get classes permit.
Oh my gosh.
Which still requires a bunch of paperwork. But if we teach you what improv or stand-up or sketch is at the top of the show, that's an 80-person class. So all this bullshit just to make some people laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how does Dave Buckman, the performer, improv extraordinaire, navigate the performance and fun side of life with all of the stuff weighing on him?
Navigate the fun and performance life. Let me think. I have a Thursday night show with some people that I really truly love to watch improvise and play and do that with, and I really enjoy that half hour of turning my brain off. I love teaching improv and sketch. I really do. I really truly enjoy opening up people's minds to the kind of getting in touch with their senses of humor and bringing that out of them and kind of showing them, here's where you're strong, here's where you're weak, here's where you can get better, here's some things. I love that stuff. I love watching people blossom. So that's very relieving. And I've always been a producer and a director, so I love being in charge of a bunch of comedians. I love being around comedians.
Yeah.
Even this week, I'm behind the bar while we're still getting set up, and I love that part of it too. I love the operations of a comedy club. But just being around funny people makes me feel like a whole person.
Coldtowne has always been very good at balancing the improv with the support for the stand-up comics. You've always had strong programming on both sides.
We've really tried. I mean, we come from improv and sketch, but if you asked me when I was 12 what I wanted to do when I grew up, I told everybody I wanted to be a stand-up. And I've tried stand-up, but it's so hard, and I'm so not good at it, which is odd because I can improvise a speech, like a glowing speech about somebody, or I can get up and just say a few remarks without any preparation. But stand-up eludes me in a way that I don't understand why it eludes me. I get so hung up on the jokes and the rhythm of the joke and it not going well, and I'll get in my head about the one last thing that just did not go well. And I'm got a director's brain and a producer's brain, so I'm constantly criticizing, giving myself notes throughout the performance and going up there, remember to do this, remember to do that. And I get in my head a lot. So, but I admire stand-up so much, and I love the art form of stand-up so much. And I love watching stand-ups on TV as well, and in the theater as well. I just saw, who did I just see last night? Leah Sampson came to Coldtowne to set last night, and she was phenomenal. She played for 3 people. And treated them with the utmost respect, completely killed them, had zero hang-ups about playing for 3 people, and it was beautiful to watch. And she's just a beautiful person.
She loves the stage. I mean, I think that's
true.
One of the most important elements of being a performer.
But she appreciated those stage. 3 people hitting those jokes, and it's just I love that dedication to making people laugh who would otherwise be at the movies or on the couch or in a restaurant. So I love those people.
Yeah. Tell us about the things that you did during the pandemic. I remember Simply being pretty involved in some of the online shows. I'd watch some of the Twitch channel.
Yeah, that was
things.
Figuring that out on the fly. We had no idea what we were doing. We hired some folks to help us, but they bailed on us pretty quickly because we didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
And here's what you got to do to manage Twitch, and we're like, that's not how we do things. And, we've got these shows, main stage shows right now over at Game On ATX. We did the Emma Dilemma, which was a 3-camera shoot. Now we're doing Strange Town, which is a town hall, improvised town hall with a 3-camera shoot. So, I mean, that's really how we do it. And it's really fun to watch. If I can't make it up to a show to see it live, I can watch it on Twitch live. And it's still very funny. And that's really how we've been handling Twitch. But early on, we didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
And we were just trying to do anything to kind of keep... Basically, I felt like, the story of Hanukkah, there's enough oil for one night and last for 8 days.
Yeah,
And that's kind
yeah.
of what the pandemic felt like, where my whole job was to keep this little tiny flame going for 3 years
Yeah.
until we could get back into our space again. And that's really literally what I've been doing for 3
Yeah.
years, is keeping that little flame alive
Yeah.
and trying to like keep community and keep the Coldtowne name out there.
Yeah. There's so many questions about the history of comedy that I try to explore, the Austin comedy scene that I try to explore, because I'm getting to talk to new comics who like had no idea there was a comedy scene before the pandemic.
Right.
You know, and I'm sure you run into your fair share of comics like that. And then, you know, there's people, recently was talking to Holly Hart, and she was like, knew enough before the pandemic that she felt like she was just starting to get to know people in the scene. And then as things started to reopen, it's like now she has to start from scratch at getting to know people because there's so many new people. As you were seeing stages wide open during the pandemic, while many of the old guard comics and performers were being respectful of, you know, safety and staying home, what was your brain thinking about what was happening with the Austin comedy scene?
Well, one thing I've learned about running an improv theater for the last several years is that you can't control 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
20-year-olds are going to be 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
25-year-olds are going to be 25-year-olds.
Yeah.
30-year-olds are going to be 30-years. And then once they get to be 30, they're like, oh, I don't have to do this every fucking night. But, you know, there's new and hungry, and people had just moved here. And, you know, we did a really good job as a comedy scene of attracting a national attention. And so
Yeah.
people were moving here. As they should. Same thing with the tech industry in Austin. You know, but same thing with tech industry. We invited so many people to live in this city that we forgot to build a transit line for them, or to get in and out of the city easily.
Right.
You know, and the same thing happened with comedy, is that we attracted so many people, and then everything stopped, but all these people are here. What are they going to do? Not do comedy?
Yeah.
You know, half the country doesn't think the virus is real, and half of the people who think it's real are under 30. So, I mean, I think they were idiots to go out there and do that, but they didn't know any better. And why would they know any better?
Yeah.
It's not expected of them.
And why would they listen to us?
And why would they listen to us?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's stages, there's audiences. People want to see shows.
Yeah.
People don't care about the virus. They want to see, God bless them. Do
Yeah.
it. Go get the virus and do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but all that is to say, I was jealous. I was very jealous. I am always the person in the Coldtowne staff meetings where, like, I don't care about a snowstorm. Let's just do the show. Who cares if it's raining? Let's do the show. If 3 people want to do a show and 2 people want to watch it, why would we say no?
Yeah.
Why would we say no? We're not going to take these 2 people's money and let these 3 people get some stage time.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people at Coldtowne that are like, well, let's be careful, and that's fine. And I usually listen to them. I usually acquiesce because. And that's why I think what's made Coldtowne so good is that, you know, there is no person at the head that's like, this is the way it's going to be and this is my way. I'm very easygoing, and I usually, I'm very democratic as well. And so I hire people that push back. I try to hire people that push back on ideas. And I've got a really smart, caring team that probably would never let us open until it's safe. In fact, we go overboard, you know. We just bought a $100 air purifier for Mason for our upstairs classroom because one student wanted that. And we're like, yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah.
So we're always, you know, we're very community based. If somebody doesn't have money for a ticket, that's fine. If somebody doesn't have money for a workshop, we'll find a way to get you in. You know, I'm capitalist. I want to make money at this. I want Coldtowne to make money. I want Coldtowne to be here in 25 years, but I'm also want to get as much comedy to people as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. And now that so we're recording on the 6th of November. You had your opening weekend last weekend. How excited were you to finally say, you know, I don't know, a month ago, 2 months ago, whatever, whenever you signed that lease, to say, oh my God, it's finally coming, you know, we're finally getting a space.
It's so exciting, and everybody's like chipping in. It feels like the old clubhouse again. You know, put a lot of the old photos on the wall, a lot of the old posters. I mean, every week there's something new going on there. We're gonna probably plaster a ceiling with old show posters soon. And
Neat.
yeah, just like little tweaks in there, just kind of like whatever we can do, because we know that this space that we're in is going away at the end of next year. Mm-hmm. It will be torn down for condos. It's a 14-month lease. We know that. We're gentrifying the neighborhood, as well as also being gentrified out of the neighborhood at the same time. So, so this is really we just kind of design the space we can, put up the best shows we can, try to have as good a party atmosphere as possible, and hope to God that it's successful this year, and try to get the word out that we're fundraising and looking for donors, looking for investors that want to like take us to that next level. I think we can be like the millennial Esther's Follies.
Yeah.
We want to do main stage sketch shows and reviews that run for weeks and months, and we want to discover new comics. We want to get people on a bigger stages. We want to start bringing in acts that don't fit into traditional stand-up clubs. We're bringing in TJ and Pete, who are they were the Sonic guys for like 20 years.
Oh, really?
Those old Sonic commercials, the blonde guy and the brunette guy in the front. So they're coming. They are maybe two of the best improvisers on the planet. They're both Second City main stage people, and TJ is part of this TJ and Dave group, which is by far one of the best improv duos ever. And Pete wrote for Colbert and for Seth Meyers. And,
wow.
He's on Veep. He's on lots of things. So they're old friends, and they're going to come in. And I've got a lot of people lined up that maybe they can't donate thousands of dollars, but they can come in for a weekend and do a show. And I want to start having us be the kind of place where you can catch a John Early or a Kate Berlant or a Meg Stalter, somebody who is not going to show up at Cap City or Velveeta Room, but is wildly funny, and has more of a Dynasty typewriter feel to it. I think is the kind of club I want.
Okay. What about stand-ups?
Oh, stand-ups for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I want Live at Coldtowne's coming back Saturday nights.
Nice.
Yeah, stand-up's going to be Fridays and Saturdays at 10 o'clock. We're going to do monthly showcases Friday nights. So first Friday, second Fridays, third Fridays, fourth Fridays, those will be different showcases. Tyler Gross is putting a show together next Friday. And then Sundays at 10 is going to be an open mic.
Okay.
So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, stand-up.
So a lot of the old traditionals are coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And as the scene has changed, and Tyler, I think it's kind of knowledge that he's splitting his time right now between Austin and New York.
Yeah. We spent a year in Amsterdam together, Tyler and I.
You were there at the same time?
I was the reason he went out there. They hired me to direct the next main stage show. And they're like, do you happen to know any minority improvisers? I was like, I've got 3. That'd be awesome. So I put up Kenna Benefield and Maggie May and Tyler. And they went with Tyler.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah,
so we got to spend a year together writing a sketch show together.
Yeah.
I spent 2 months writing it. He had to spend a year performing it.
He was fun to talk to because one of the things that he talked about from his experience with Boom Chicago is learning how to write comedy in a way that's universal, that, crosses cultural knowledge and bias.
100%.
And I think that was so helpful for him to win the FPIA and kind of bump up his abilities as a stand-up.
Boom Chicago is an amazing training ground because you have to be good to survive there. You cannot fake your way through that gig. That is a show every night, almost every night. At top level, you're dealing with drunk European hecklers trying to throw you off your game. And you have to be able to freestyle rap. You have to be able to do improv comedy. You have to be able to talk to an audience and MC and host. It's like a lot of skill sets. People come back from Boom and they usually go right to TV.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm very intrigued by this notion of the drunk European heckler. Is that how different of a creature is that from the drunk American heckler?
The European heckler thinks he's helping the show.
Oh,
They truly believe that they are helping you, and they're like along for the ride. So they can't be. You can't shut them down the way you can an American heckler.
Yeah.
American heckler's there to disrupt. They think they're better than you, and you have to overcome. European, you can't shut a person down so hard that the audience turns on you, because they all know that they're just trying to help. So you have to be clever enough and witty enough to let the audience know, like, yeah, but I'm funnier and smarter than this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Without putting him down at the same time. So it's a tighter needle to thread.
huh. Interesting.
And so you get your reps in. You get your reps in a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the original thought that I had is with people like Tyler moving away, how do you figure out these are the new faces that I want to be involved with, hosting the open mic or hosting the showcase?
That's a great question. I mean, I've got a great artistic director, Will Cleveland, who keeps his eyes on all the improvisers, and then we hired Angelina Martin to kind of produce our stand-up shows.
Yeah.
So she's very, she's the best stand-up producer in town.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want her on my team.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful she is. And then we use classes a lot too. People come through classes that were like, this person's amazing, or we watch the stand-up shows and kind of like listen to the word of mouth on the street, and we raise a couple of stand-ups through our classes. Yola came through our classes, and Katie Stone came through our classes, and they might have been doing stand-up before, but once they hit improv and stand-up together, they usually just like soar. Mac Blake as well came from Coldtowne. I don't know if that answers the question or not.
Yeah, kind of.
But yeah, I always get sad when people tell me they're leaving Austin.
Yeah.
It always breaks my heart a little bit but that's what we're doing here. We know we're a stepping stone to LA, Chicago, or New York, and I'm proud to be that. I think the more people that we get out there, the better Austin is, the better Coldtowne is, and the whole scene is, because people are like, oh yeah, I came from Austin. Like, you came from Austin too? So we've got little these pockets in Chicago, LA, and New York of all Austin. There's Austin-based troops in those cities as well, where people are like, gathering in those cities as well that have Austin experience. So, but there's always, thank God for, Facebook, Google, Texas Instruments, all those companies that bring in all those tech nerds every year to provide our audiences and our classes, but also the University of Texas brings us 35,000 new freshmen every year.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
And between those two, and then all the artists and poets and writers in the city, and the musicians, we usually have a pretty cool, eclectic group. And, our classes are full right now. We've just enough, people to fill all those classes, and we want to keep growing and building more comedians and getting back to it.
You and I sat together at South by Southwest watching the absolutely incredible Stamptown. I don't even know if we would be successful in trying to describe what the experience of Stamptown was.
Yeah.
Experimental, outlandish. If anybody knows the name Martin Urbano from years back, it's like him times 100. Level insanity.
With a little more clowning involved.
Yeah.
Martin Urbano as a clown.
Yeah.
is kind of what that show was.
Yeah. It's hard. It's an incredibly difficult show to explain. But is that something that Coldtowne would inspire is the only word that's coming to mind, but like have room for to let somebody create something absolutely wild?
Oh yeah, 100%. I want comedic acts that are not just straight up joke telling. I mean, I like joke telling. I like a Jeselnik. You know what I mean? I like just smart crafted jokes like that, a good Seth Meyers. But I want Coldtowne to be more than just your basic improv troupe doing a montage or a stand-up doing set-up joke, set-up joke, set-up joke, set-up joke. I want it to be experimental. I want it to be surprising. I want it to be comedians testing things out and stretching the limits. You know, we were doing that with improv and sketch for sure, but pre-pandemic. I don't know how much we were doing with stand-up. Stand-up is a little more of a side thought, more than what I cared for at the time. But I wasn't the only one, you know. But now I get to say I have a lot more say in what happens now. So
Yeah.
I want more stand-up, and I want more experimental stand-up. I want more experimental shows. You know, I don't think Stamptown to me is a stand-up show. For me, Stamptown is a theatrical experience.
Yeah.
And almost a sketch, because there is a running order there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So for me, it's a one-person sketch show that looks like a stand-up show, but it is not. It is clearly not.
Right.
You know, Aristotle Anthari, which we also saw together,
Yeah.
was also he did this one bit during Moon Tower. I saw it 5 times throughout Moon Tower. But you know, James Austin Johnson had a different set every single set at Moon Tower. I was really impressed with that. Desmukes had like you know, 8 or 9 bits that he was like going back and forth in between. So I saw some, but Aristotle did the same bit, slightly modified each time for the audience, but it was a sketch.
Yeah.
It was an improvised sketch with an audience member. There were certain beats that he would hit. There were certain beats that he would skip if it wasn't going well. But it was a sketch. It was like a choose your own adventure sketch with an audience member, and it was brilliant. I was like, I would love an hour of that, please. Even if it was the same bit for an hour, I would love that too. But I would love to see more of what that kind of show would be, more than I would like. I think most of the comics I saw at Moon Tower.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The
I saw some great acts at Moon Tower for sure.
Yeah. Oh, we were
Like
at Moon Tower, not South by Southwest. Sorry.
Yeah. And Feinstein does the same set every single time. Very slight modifications in each set, but I still love her storytelling, and I love her humor so much. I didn't mind it so much.
Yeah.
You know?
As executive producer and owner, how do you balance that want? You know, I want to encourage on my stages the experimental, the wild, the crazy, because I forgot his name, but the Stamptown guy didn't get there overnight.
Right.
He had to have had a ton of failures before the success.
And a ton of training too.
Yeah. So how do you balance that? Okay, I'm going to bring this experimental thing to the stage, but it may fall flat.
Right. Well, I don't give that person a Saturday at 8:30 slot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Until it's killing in the other slots. You give them a Monday or Tuesday to work it out for an hour for 3 people. You know what I mean? That's where it has to happen.
Yeah.
You know, any sketch show or any stand up is the only way to get better is to doing it in front of an audience and figure out what works and what doesn't. It's the only you can be theoretical with it all you want, but until an audience tells you where the laughs are, you don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Because I've done so many sketch shows through Second City where we were confident that this line would work and this line wouldn't, and it's always the opposite. So the audience will always tell you what's funny, and they'll never lie about what's not funny. You know.
Yeah.
That's the only way to figure it out. So Coldtowne's definitely a dojo in that realm where you come bring your stuff to us. We'll find a spot for it. We'll put you in between other acts that we know are good. Give you some cushion, give you some protection.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it goes. And if it's good, maybe we'll do it again. If it's not, we can back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
You know.
How would you at Coldtowne? I don't know why I'm so fixated on the experimental comedy experience. I'm thinking of a local show that may fit that bill.
Okay.
And I'm just thinking, again, going back to the Stamptown guy, Bucker?
So I think it was Zucker. It was
Okay.
a Z, definitely a Z.
Yeah. He went to clown school.
Yep.
Trained.
Yep.
So for somebody that wants to do something like that, is Coldtowne a place where somebody could train to do some of the, fringe elements of comedy?
I think that comes from someone's own mind. I don't think we can teach what that guy's doing. I think that guy comes from a lot of different influences and kind of puts those influences together to create something. What we can do is provide the influences. When we have a very successful show, there's usually a lot of copycat submissions. You know, troops like Yahweh Asian or Sugarwater Purple were vanguards in that, and prima donnas, troops would pop up in response to that. Or actually, if you have a really good, successful two-person sketch show, there's going to be a lot of two-person sketch submissions afterwards. I was in Chicago with, it was two white guys. It was Becky Drysdale, who ended up writing, head writer of The Tonight Show, and Jordan Peele. And then their two-person sketch show was called Two White Guys.
Oh, that guy?
Yeah. But it was wildly successful. I hired them both to Boom Chicago. But in the aftermath of that was a rash of two-person sketch shows where there weren't any in Chicago. So having representation on stage, which we find out for the last couple of years at Coldtowne, really pays off in dividends to filling your classes with those people. So if you put something experimental on stage, you're getting a lot of experimental people in your classes. If you put people of color on stage, you get people of color in your classes. You know what I mean? So and put people of color in the staff and the faculty. So having experimental folks in your staff and faculty will breed more experimental stuff on your stages. They start the classes and they graduate to the stages. Speaking
of Yahweh Asian, are they going to be able to find their home back at Coldtowne?
Of course, they have an complete open welcome to any slot they want.
I mean, they.
I know they're doing a monthly show at Fallout, so I don't want to poach them.
Right.
Poach them from the Fallout, but it's obviously up to them wherever they want to play.
Yeah.
They're the dominant force in improv in Austin right now.
Yeah. It was, from the performer side, improv troupes trying to find spaces to perform was incredibly difficult because they didn't have those small black box theaters to do their craft.
Right.
Versus stand-ups, there were plenty of
random
laundromat, convenience store, lots of
improv. You need chairs, you need lights to go up and down.
Yeah.
You don't need mics, thank God, but you do need some sort of lighting system.
The good thing is everything else is imaginary, right? The cupboard.
Yeah.
I've learned that part from watching many improv shows.
Yeah, low cost on props, high cost on emotional weight.
Were you keeping up with what was happening in the improv world in general during the pandemic?
Oh, for sure. I was in lots of Zoom groups with other improv theaters from around the country and sketch theaters. Jen and Mick up at the Annoyance in Chicago were godsends. They are my North Stars. Mick artistically and Jen on the business sense.
Yeah.
They've given me lots of good counsel.
I've actually been to that theater.
At the Annoyance?
Yeah.
It's the if you're in Chicago, please go to the Annoyance and support them. They are doing God's work. But yeah, I have lots of friends around the country that I knew in Chicago that are now all running theaters around the country. So people in Pittsburgh, people in Atlanta, people in San Francisco, people in Santa Monica, people in Chicago who all own theaters. Kansas City, Philly, Detroit. Yeah, so I'm in contact with a lot of them. And we've just been sharing secrets, basically sharing trade secrets, sharing tips and tricks.
Yeah.
Especially to get through the pandemic part of it. But even right now, as I'm doing a lot of fundraising by myself right now before we open it up to the Austin crowd. We're about to do a huge push out to Austin arts community.
Okay.
And Coldtowne alumni for some donations. But I've been doing it kind of quietly myself with all my old famous friends and Chicago friends. I've raised $50,000 this summer all by myself.
It's amazing.
Just by asking people.
Yeah.
But also, there's a lot of people that are like, hey, I don't have money, but I have time. Let's get on Zoom and talk about it. Mm-hmm. And so catching up with all those people, I've gotten so many good ideas from all of them. And people who don't even own theaters are like, yeah, I've been doing theater for 20 years. How can I help?
Nice.
So some people are doing online workshops for us for free. We've got a writer from Tuca and Birdie giving us a writing for animation workshop. We've got a sales trainer at TikTok is going to give us a 3-week TikTok course for people that want to get into TikTok. Yeah, those kind of things. And so getting help from the national comedy community has been unbelievable.
And your network. I mean, it sounds like you've got an incredible alumni network.
Yeah, for sure. We have Coldtowne alumni, but also Boom Chicago alumni,
Right.
and Second City alumni, that and I Improv Olympic alumni, Annoyance alumni, people I went through classes with in Chicago, have been enormously helpful. And then I was in a fraternity in college, so I got fraternity brothers to go hit up. High school friends, college. I'm hitting every email address in my. What else am I holding on to that? Those email addresses for?
Right. Okay, so obviously Moon Tower Comedy Festival came back with a roar first in September, and then again this past April.
Yeah.
Out of Bounds decided they were not going to do a formal festival.
Right.
They're going to do something more behind the scenes. Austin Sketch Fest came back this fall. So are we going to see an improv festival perhaps at some point in this city?
I certainly hope so.
Yeah.
I actually left Out of Bounds in 2019.
Okay.
Just before the pandemic
Oh
happened.
my gosh.
I was like, I did 10 years and I really wanted to focus on Coldtowne.
Yeah.
And Sketchfest, so I quietly stepped down from Out of Bounds, and so Asaf and Shannon are in charge of Out of Bounds now. So, and I trust their leadership and their guidance. I think until there's a renaissance for the improv scene here, I don't see it coming back huge until there's like sold out houses at all the theaters, which right now I'd say they're about half.
Yeah.
50% capacity. Classes are full. Audiences are about 50% from what they were for improv shows. So until there's like that groundswell of troops demanding stage time and audiences demanding improv, I don't know how feasible a festival is.
Yeah.
Because even in Out of Bounds' best years, I don't think we ever got more than maybe 150, 200 people to any one show. So we always tried to sell out the state, and we never could fill out the state. We selling out Hideout downstairs and Fallout downstairs pretty easily, but never the North Door, never the state. And so until we have that kind of groundswell of attention, troops, really, really good troops that could fill out a whole festival, and audiences that are clamoring for it, I don't know how needed that festival is yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I always felt my own experience with Out of Bounds was I learned so much more by watching the improv, because I'm so used to stand-up and sketch. Okay, I watch Saturday Night Live. I watch other sketch shows on TV, so that's a concept I've got some familiarity with, but I don't get to see enough improv. And so I always enjoyed the improv elements.
But there's improv going on in the city every night.
Yeah.
Hideout, Fallout, and Coldtowne.
Yeah.
And Merlin Works does monthly shows as well. So there's plenty of opportunity. But getting people out to go see them is harder than you think.
Yeah. Well, I would trust you on that.
Yeah, for sure.
What do I know? Okay, so if you have somebody's email address or phone number, they will get hit up for fundraising.
100%. If I have your email address in my Yahoo, I'm still on Yahoo, address book, you are getting an email.
Yeah.
If you haven't already gotten one.
Yeah. What else do I want to cover? Oh, we haven't done our open-ended cards. Let's do that as our little intermission. Okay. So you'll pick one first, and then I'll do the other one, and you just read it out loud and answer the question. And we're going to test your improv skills, Dave.
And I ask you one, and you ask me one? Is that how it works? There's two cards here. What am I getting asked both of them?
Oh, that would be fun to do it that way. Okay, so pick one. I'll read it to you, and then you can read the other one to me. Okay, so I'm going to read this one to you.
Okay.
All right. So your open-ended question. This comes from a card game called Where Should We Begin? Oh my gosh. And you can take the other card if you don't like this one. I feel most attractive when ...
Christ. I feel most attractive. Now I'm a married man.
Yeah.
And I feel most attractive. I feel most attractive when my wife is complimenting me or kissing me, for sure. Maybe at the end of a really good show. If I've had a particularly good show, I feel attractive after that show. I guess that's it. I mean,
Yeah, these are so goofy sometimes.
I am a handsome boy, but I'm also a little hefty, so I don't feel attractive that often. But when my wife gives me a compliment or gives me a kiss, I feel very attractive, and yeah, I'm way into her.
And you two have been married for a while.
We've
And
been
you've known each
married
other
for 14 years, and we've been together for 19 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Traveling the world together.
Yep. Yeah, we did a Second City boat cruise together. We've done shows in Hawaii. We've done shows in Europe. We've done shows in Chicago and North Carolina and Philly, all over. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. All right. Well,
I get to ask you this
all
one,
right? Let's see. Oh no. Oh no.
This one's even more.
Oh no! I'm already turning red and I haven't heard it.
Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy I did not pick this one.
Oh God. Oh God.
During sex, Valerie.
Oh my God!
The world melts away when... ...
Oh my God. Okay.
You didn't
Dave,
vet, you didn't vet these?
No, because
you didn't
all I
vet these
do
cards?
is I go like this and I just randomly... And
now, if this was my podcast, I would have gone through that twice to make sure there's no questions.
I need to do that now, I think. Although, I interview comics who talk about the dirtiest things. This is so...
Time to step up to the plate.
This is... Oh, my God.
I'll go. I'll answer it for you.
Okay, thank
but
you.
You got to answer it if I answer it.
Okay, fine.
I'll be vulnerable and answer it.
Okay.
During sex, the world melts away when I can just get into the rhythm and just feel the rhythm.
Yeah.
And something just takes me.
Oh my God. What's really funny about these cards, the fact that I picked two randomly, and that was the pairing.
Yeah.
But also that these were on top because I had a guest who canceled on me.
Oh.
And I'm thinking also of, oh my God, what if these had been the questions for that person?
Oh my gosh.
And how would that have gone?
Right.
Okay. Gosh. I think for me, it's the world melts away when we're getting into the rhythm, but then I also, we are kissing. So there's something about that, like extra connection and just, oh my God. Whew. Am I going to have to put a trigger warning on this episode?
I'm also going to come off kissing's very good. Kissing's very hot.
Yeah.
Like, big fan of kissing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think I might have to take pictures of these and might be the cover art. No, it won't be. Wouldn't that be? Coldtowne Theaters, Dave Buckman.
Oh my God.
Whew, goodness. All right. Well, how do we get back to the serious business of stand-up, improv, and sketch? All right. That was fun, actually, from the perspective that I've been doing these cards a few months now, but I always have the guest read their own question, and now I think having the other person read makes it even more fun. And it may be that these questions were...
If I picked it up and just read it myself, I can make up whatever I wanted
to. That's true. Yeah, that's true. You could have. Okay, so future guests, be forewarned. We've talked about improv. We've talked about stand-up. What about sketch? What are some cool things happening at Coldtowne with sketch?
Boy, we got to write some sketch shows. I plan on doing one in the spring. I did a show called Austin Translation about 6 or 7 years ago. And it was created in the Second City style, where we improvise and re-improvise and re-improvise and re-improvise until it's like a fine diamond, and we kind of find a theme, or we're writing to a theme, and we kind of put it together. It becomes a sketch review with songs and improv games and sketches, topical sketches. And I want to do another one based on the gentrification that we're experiencing, called Gentrification Station. Or Gentrification Invasion Station? I don't know. I'm very like, it's going to be probably not the answer you're hoping for, but I'm very, right now, into the concept of communities living side by side with each other and how they interact, whether they absorb each other or go to war with each other or live cohesively or have some sort of exchange, or just like how are two different communities living side by side dealing with each other. And you got that all over the world right now. You got Israel and Palestine, you got Russia and Ukraine, you've got downtown and east side. You got all, and we're a part of that conversation too. And I think I want to do a sketch show around those themes for next fall. I know Will Cleveland also has a sketch show up his sleeve as well, but we need to we just had Sketch Fest. There's some really good sketches in there, but I didn't see a lot of traditional sketches in that Sketch Fest. It was very talky to the audience. A lot of high concept stand up or duo stand up, or some of the sketches they're not as tight as I'd hope they'd be. You know what I mean? Like, I like really tight sketch comedy. When I got to Chicago, Tina Fey was on stage, Scott Adsit was on stage, Dratch was on stage, and these were like really smart, sophisticated, sexy, tight sketches with cool transitions in between, which is different than the UCB style, which is UCB style sketches like do the sketch, long blackout while we set up for the next one, unrelated sketch. And I like Second City, where there's like a theme to the show, there's a vibe to the show, there's an aesthetic to the show. Sketches don't end, they kind of transition into the next one. Or if there is a blackout, it's very quick and very short and used for enunciation, for the laugh, rather than like that's over and let's go set up let's bring a table on, bring a table off. I don't like that. I like if that table's on there, we're gonna dance with that table and place it where it needs to be for the next one. I'd have that exposed and do a little more choreography. So I want to do one of those. Willow wants to do one of his, and I'm hoping there's a lot more sketch shows coming. Prayer Circle's still a thing. It was one of our premier sketch troupes, and I know that they're writing and creating. Cool. We did the Emma Dilemma, which is kind of sketch prov, where Jared Robinson, who's God willing will be in the sketch show with me, wrote this amazing concept where it was a Sally Jesse Raphael takeoff, where he wrote these scenarios of like, here's the conflict. He gave everybody characters to improvise. So he would come up with a premise, the conflict, and the characters, and they would improvise from there with their costumes. They would be given bring in costumes. So it was sketch prov-y. So there's that going on too.
Very cool.
And I want to bring in some really cool people too from the national scene. So I think once you do that, people are like, oh, once they see somebody doing it really well, they're like, I want to aspire to that, and they start producing their own things. Right.
And you have the full offering of classes, so they can come to you for, learning how to do the thing.
You would think, sketch. I find sketch gets a lot of attrition in our classes because people, unlike improv, sketch classes have homework, and people are a little either like, I didn't sign up for homework, or they're like, they didn't do they didn't do the assignment this week, so they feel bad about coming to class when they really shouldn't. We need people to read sketches too, not just provide sketches. So then they're a week behind, they feel out of place, and then they stop coming. I see it a lot with sketch. So, we really try, but finding those sketch writers are hard. Everyone wants to be an actor. Everybody wants to be on Saturday Night Live. Nobody wants to write for it.
Well,
people do want to write for it, but they don't want to do the work. It's with the job.
Well, yes, if they have another job, it's, you're right. It's tough. It's like, okay, I'm committing to the class, but homework? You're crazy.
You got to write every day if you want to be a sketch writer.
Well, if you wanted to be a performer in the comedic arts, you pretty much have to do something every day to advance that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a commitment.
Yeah. Is there anything we haven't covered?
Yeah, coldtowntheater.com/support is the website page you need to go to
Yeah.
help keep Coldtowne going into 2024. The building we're in right now will be condos by 2024. So this year is about proving ourselves and raising the money we need to
Yeah.
get beyond this year.
Yeah. And you're from the conversation that we had at Moon Tower, your big dream and ambition is to construct your own space.
That would be the dream. I mean, if we can get another $350,000, we can build a space that is perfect for us.
Yeah.
It'll have a bar. It'll have 2 or 3 classrooms, a green room, an outdoor patio, a 70-seat theater. That's all we want.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's all we want to get it back to going because we were pretty good, and I know we can get back to being even better.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Are the picnic tables at the new venue?
There are picnic tables, and we also got these boardroom tables too. But there's a nice patio out there.
Yeah.
To sit outside and have some drinks and hang out under the Christmas lights and swat away some mosquitoes and drink, have some drinks until you want to go home.
Nice. And with your grand reopening weekend, you were celebrating 16
Sweet
years?
16.
Wow.
Yeah, 2006. October 2006 was our first shows at the airport.
Oh my gosh. As old as my teenager.
Right?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. Well, one of the things that I do during my episodes is I ask these one-word questions.
Okay.
One for your past, one for your future. And back in 2018, your past word was laughter. And your future word was rich, but you conditioned that as full of love. Do you want to revisit either of those?
Both.
For today? Both. Okay. All right. So one word to describe your past.
One word to describe our past. Dues?
What?
Dues. Like paying my dues. I had to. I mean, working at Second City, working in Boom, Chicago, building Coldtowne, it's all come to fruition. Like all these things that I've been experiencing and all these experiences I've had and background and jobs I've had and working at the Chamber of Commerce, working in marketing offices and office managing and just even waiting tables or cooking.
Yeah.
It's all helps me get to this,
Yeah.
paying my dues to get to this point. And for the future, one word to describe my future. Gosh. I think I want to say brilliant in the sense of just like this brilliant light. I was gonna say bright, but brilliant seems a better adjective for that kind of light I'm talking about. Of just like this brilliant light that is attracting comics, a beacon of light maybe.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you a hypothetical.
Okay.
Because since I have known you and Coldtowne are like, you can't say one without the other.
It's hard for me to see that, but okay, yeah. I keep it separate.
Well, so if you did not have Coldtowne Theater in your life,
Oh boy.
what would Dave Buckman be doing?
Without Coldtowne. If Coldtowne the troupe didn't follow us into town 6 months after we got here, where would we be? Let's see. I'd probably still be doing shows at the Hideout. Because Fallout wouldn't even exist.
Yeah.
Because Fallout came from New Movement came from Coldtowne. So all that is gone.
Uh-huh.
None of that happened. So we'd all still be at the Hideout. I don't know that I'd be in Austin at that point. Maybe. I don't know. Without Coldtowne, maybe we're in LA, Rachel and I are in LA or New York or Chicago or Philly or Cleveland. I don't know. I don't know if I do improv anymore. Maybe cooking? Maybe cooking somewhere.
Huh.
Or a teacher. God, I hope not. I'm really happy with what I am right now. I'm really happy that this is my life right now. I'm really happy that I get to own a comedy club. If not just for this year, I get to own a comedy club, which has been a dream of mine. And hang around comics for the next year. And God willing, I'll get to keep doing it beyond this year. So I guess right now, until I know where the next space is, I have a hard time seeing beyond 2023 about what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Until I know that we can afford it or there's a new space to move into. And beyond that, I don't know. I don't know.
There's a lot of puzzle pieces that need to come together
Fall
in
into
order.
place, yeah. And I am very good. I'm a very patient person. I'm very good at waiting. I'm very good at letting things play out. I'm going to try my damnedest to make it happen, but I'm also not going to feed any disappointment if it doesn't. I'm trying to keep that part of me open so I don't to ease the heartbreak if it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
I don't want to have that kind of failure on my hands, so I'm kind of bracing myself like, if it happens, amazing. I'm going to try everything I can to make it happen. If it doesn't happen, it wasn't supposed to happen, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
And I will find another path. Maybe I'll direct plays. Maybe I'll direct stand-up showcases. I'll produce something, or maybe I'll just go to cooking school.
Well, I don't know. You've been performing a really long time. It seems like, well, I guess you can perform as a chef too, but
Right.
it seems like performance is, running through your veins, and
Yeah.
it'd be hard for you to step away from that.
Yeah. Maybe become a stage performer. I miss doing plays a lot. And acting in plays and directing plays, and I haven't
Yeah.
done that in a long time, so that's always another path too.
Yeah. Well, let's be the eternal optimists,
Yes.
and it's all going to work out. And after that lease ends, you're going to have that pot of gold, and the banks will be like, "Wow, you really killed it in 22."
Hey, you made all the money. Can we give you money now?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Oh man, it just doesn't make sense sometimes. All right. Well, that is a wrap on Comedy Wham Presents. Dave Buckman, tell us again where we can find you on social media and promote the things you want to promote.
Oh yeah, please at Dave Buckman at Facebook or Instagram. I think I'm Mr. Bucktastic on TikTok. I don't make videos. Don't follow me there. I'm following you. Don't follow me. Also at Coldtowne Theater on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all the grams.
Yeah.
And then ATX Sketchfest as well.
Very good. Well, we hope.
I should say Coldtowne is COLDTOWNE.
Yeah. The old-timey way of spelling town. We hope you've enjoyed learning about how Dave got to be the comedic genius that you heard today just as much as I have. This has been Comedy Wham Presents Dave Buckman. I'm Valerie, and that's been funny. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks for having me, Val. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.